Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the WOG, and welcome to another episode of Call to the Ring, a wrestling podcast where I like to interview other wrestlers from across the U.S. and hopefully one day across the world. The ones who week in and week out put on amazing matches for the fans, not just for Instagram likes and TikTok attention, but because they love professional wrestling. And this week is no different. Today, I'm very excited. I have an amazing guest. He's probably one of the most innovative wrestlers on the scene today. He's really tearing it up with 13 plus years of experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the Psycho Superman Smiley.
All right, so first off, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. It's great having you. I've been following you for a long time, and I'm super excited. And I'm pretty sure everyone watching right now is super excited as well. And if you guys are watching the YouTube channel right now, I'm gonna leave all his social media links in my description box. So if you want to check out his YouTube channel, his Instagram, his TikTok like that, you go right ahead and it'll be right in the description box below, all right? So let's get with the interview. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I got a tummy full of Chipotle, and it's a good, relaxing evening, so I can't complain.
Uh, Chipotle. I love some Chipotle. I can't handle the cheese though. The cheese
Uh,
they put it on there, you want to eat it, but my stomach just can't handle it.
oh,
Too
I, I
much
just
protein.
I just housed the whole thing of like the cheese dip, like the cheese dip
Ah,
with the chips and
it's so good. It's
oh,
so good. But I had this thing where I was drinking protein shakes all the time, and then eventually, I don't know how I became lactose intolerant. But Chipotle, ice cream, and pizza are like those things that you just say, toss it to the wind, you know?
yeah.
All right, so for everyone watching, what was one of the first? When did you first fall in love with pro wrestling?
I remember it. It's one of my most vivid memories. We were at my great grandmother's house. We used to go visit her like every week or something like that. We go hang out, and it was me and my brother were running around just acting foolish. And we ran into the living room, and my uncles were sitting on the recliners, and they were watching TV. And it was like a Saturday night main event. And I want to say it was like October of 1990. So at this point, I'm like 5 years old. My brother is probably like one, like, maybe one. So like we're just playing around. We run in the building. We run in the living room. As soon as we run in, I look up on the screen, and it's the Demolition. All three members of Demolition.
Oh,
I'm like, what is this? And then all of a sudden you hear the, ooh, what a rush. And out walks LOD, and I'm like, what is this? And I just dropped right then and there. And then right after that was the Ultimate Warrior. So you had like the Road Warriors and
oh,
the Ultimate Warrior, all three members of Demolition. If I remember the following match was like Dusty Rhodes and Macho Man. Like, you want to talk about a stacked show? It was crazy. So like it was just like instantly I dropped and I started watching. I'm like, well, I don't know what this is, but I was infatuated. And it was just like the
oh,
colors, the spikes, the larger than it was superheroes, you know? I've always been a comic
yeah,
book guy, so it was superheroes in real life right in front of me, you know? It was crazy.
yeah. Oh man, that's insane. I mean, who would not fall in love with that? You and I are actually, because I was around, I think you and I are around the same age, 1985, right?
Yep, November 85.
So like, I remember watching those matches. I remember watching those shows and just seeing the color and the spectacle
Yep.
and just everyone getting Ultimate Warrior running out, just huffing and puffing, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
I can see how that drew you in as well. Me, I was a big WCW kid growing up, so like Sting, uh, all the wrestlers that were there, just the bright colors, but the cruiserweights is what really drew me in to
Yeah.
that at times. So, you know, um, what was the wrestler or the moment that made you say, I want to do that? Because not everyone grows up, you know, they watch it, but they almost says, I'm going to be a wrestler. What was the moment that made you say, I want to do that?
I think I was always like into it. Like from when we started watching and we got like a little bit older and we got trampolines. Like, of course, me and my brother, we go out, in the trampoline and we're wrestling each other. And I remember we would take, because I'm originally from Maine, so this is not uncommon over there. But there was like a pile of pallets in our backyard and like a pile of tires in the corner. And like, because I come from a family of truck drivers. They drive
Yeah.
trucks, 18-wheeler, tow trucks, jack of all trades kind of situations. So we went around because we lived right next to my grandparents. And like we grabbed pallets and we stacked up the pallets till it was about level with the trampoline. And then we grabbed some tires and we just started tacking tires on top of each other until we could, every time we try to get up, it'd fall over. And then we went to my
Yeah.
grandfather's truck and we stole the little crank gimmicks that you tighten stuff with. And we just cranked it until
Yeah.
the tires were like pulled down and everything. And I swear, God, that thing must have been like 12 feet in the air. And we would jump up on top of that because you had to jump on. You couldn't even like just walk up there. You had to jump from the trampoline to get to the top. And then we're hitting swanton bombs and moonsaults and all this crazy stuff. So like I'd always like wrestle, like just grab somebody and throw them on the trampoline. We're wrestling, or like I did the backyard thing, and I go to this different backyard in the neighborhood and be like, oh, I'm going over Ben's house, and then we would get on like some sort of car. We get his sister to drive us to like a neighborhood that's like 4 towns over because we heard they have a backyard wrestling thing, and we would wrestle over there. So like I was always wrestling, like, and I guess like I
Yeah.
always knew like I wanted to. Had no idea what I was doing, but and
Yeah.
then at one point I was working at a photo studio, and my cousin calls me up and he goes, "Hey, would you be interested in moving to New York?" He goes, "Me and your brother are gonna move to New York. Do you want to come with us?" And I was a manager at a photo studio. I was on my lunch break. I went, "Yeah." Walked inside. I called my regional manager. I went, "Hey, I'm giving you my 2 weeks. I'm going to New York." He's like, "When did you decide this?" And I went, "About 10 minutes ago." And
Oh
so like
wow.
it was just very spontaneous. And then like as like I'm sitting at the bus station in Portland, Maine, and I'm literally just sitting there and I'm waiting for a bus, and I just get the idea. I'm like, I should do something with my time while I'm out there,
Yeah.
at one point I moved to California for a 9 month period, and I was out in California trying to be a stuntman, and it failed. It was a very difficult thing
Yeah.
to get into out in California because like to be on films you have to be in the union, but you can't get in the union unless you're on the films. So it's like this big catch
Exactly.
22, and I was doing like stunt work for like either cheap indie films that never got the funding to finish their projects, or like these student films for like
Wow.
the student the school down the street from where I was living. And then like
Yeah.
so that all kind of flopped. I was living out there like on the streets for like 3 months because like I went home for Christmas, came back to California, and the guy who I was renting the space from was like, "Oh, I thought you just went back to Maine, so we rented out your space." So he had all my stuff like just packed up in like a little corner, and I slept on the streets for like 3 months. So like
Oh
when it was time for me to go to New York, I'm like, well, I should do something while I'm out here. Like I don't want to waste it. So I got the bright idea. Excuse me. I got the idea to message Tommy Dreamer because he's one of my all-time favorites. Love Tommy Dreamer to death. So I
love him. Love him.
right. So I found his website. It had an email link, so I emailed that, and I'm like sitting on the bus typing out this message. And I'm like, I'm moving to New York. I feel like I should do something like maybe start wrestling. I know you were trained by Johnny Rods. I'm looking at his school. I'm also looking at House of Glory because I understand Amazing Red has a school. I'm big,
Yeah.
big Amazing Red fan. Um, I go, but I'm just looking for your advice. What would you suggest? And he just kind of told me, he's like, well, Johnny's not going to get in the ring with you. He goes, Johnny's probably going to have his students teaching you. He'll sit on the ringside and tell you you're doing wrong or doing right. He goes, Red's
Yeah.
still young and he's still active, so he's probably going to get in the ring with you and teach you hands on. He said, so take that for what it is, and then also consider which one costs more money. He goes, and just make your decision. So like that was kind of like all right, well, I guess we're gonna do this then. So I came to New York, uh, got settled in. I was technically living in Jersey City, but I would take the train into New York all the time.
Yeah.
I went to visit House of Glory. Met Brian XL, a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
other guys, in the ring training. Brian kept telling me like, "Oh, Red's coming by. Red's coming by. He'll be here soon. He'll be here soon." So I sat in on like the entire class, like from when they started to pretty much when they were about ready to leave. And then Brian comes over and goes, "Yeah, Red's caught up. He's not coming." I went, well, you don't say. Like that's obvious. So like,
Yeah.
but it was just kind of like a cool experience. And then I took the time to kind of like okay, like this is what I want to do. I got to get ready for this because like even just watching that, I'm like, that's more than physical. Like that's like a whole
Hmm.
mental. like jungle gym in there too, you know? So I kind of took
Yeah.
some time to get myself ready for it. Uh, and then I think I went to a random event in Brooklyn, like the 2, 3 days before I legit signed up. And I saw Tommy Dreamer there. He was on the show. He wrestled Jay Lethal and Carlito. So I went to talk to him, and I'm standing there and I'm waiting because he's talking to other people. So I'm waiting my turn, and he looks past everybody. He looks at me. He goes, "I know you from somewhere." He goes, "Where do I know you from?" And I said, "Well, you did a show with WWE in Portland, Maine, and I had a sign that said Dreamer is ECF and W." He goes, "I remember that. Why do I remember that?" He goes, "I forget everything." But for whatever reason, he remembered that moment. So we started talking a
Yeah.
little bit about how I wanted to start training and everything, and how I had emailed him. He's like, "Okay, well, did you decide on a school or whatever?" And I said, "Well, I see Jay Lethal's over there. I'm going to go talk to him about House of Glory, because at the time Jay Lethal was advertised as being, House of Glory." So
Yeah.
I go over, and as I go over and I talk to Jay, um, Jay's like, "Well, I live out in Florida now, but he runs the place." And he points behind him, and there's Brian XL just chilling on his phone. Which, if you know Brian XL, that's Brian XL. The man's always doing business. It's crazy. So I talked to Brian. 2 days later, I signed up. You know, walked in, slapped down a ton of money, signed up, and never really kind of looked back. You know,
Oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. And was it mostly Brian Excel, or did Red eventually come in and Lethal show up and everyone got a little hands in the pot when you were training?
it was a lot of Brian in the beginning because Red was still very active with TNA, so he was still doing a lot of work with them, and he was always on the road and stuff. So it was a lot of Brian in the beginning, but then Red of course he was always popping in. He would kind of fine tune what Brian had showed us, or he always had like this way of like kind of explaining it differently, which I kind
Yeah.
of took into consideration because I tell people all the time my biggest goal in all of this is I want to run a school one day because I love to teach. Like I love doing seminars. I love teaching at House of Glory, like popping in and just I'll grab somebody and help them teach and stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
Red was always one of the ones. It's like he'll explain things to you in different ways, and eventually one of them's gonna click, and you're gonna be able to do the drill that he wants. But you got to have like
Oh, okay.
1,000 ways to explain one thing, So like
Yeah.
Red was always cool about that, and then of course Red's got all these connections, so we'll just be training, and then like all of a sudden like Low Key walks in and does a class, or like Quiet Storm used to come in all the time and would just start running
Oh,
classes.
wow.
Chris Devine, Matt Stryker, not Unibrow Matt
I
Stryker,
remember.
but WWE Matt Stryker, uh, which always
That's
boggled my mind because they kept saying the Matt Strykers, and I didn't realize there were two of them.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd always thought that was kind
Yeah.
of crazy. So it was always cool. Eddie Kingston would come in, and he was training with us at one point. It's just like so you had all these like people that just knew Red. Um, there was one point. This one I always kind of chuckled at this one where we get to training and Red comes by and goes, "Just to let you know, Red Shoes is here from New Japan. He is the referee from New Japan. Red Shoes, he's gonna be here. He's gonna watch." He goes, "So, you know, be on your game." And
Yeah.
one of the other students was trying to impress Red Shoes, so he picks me up and he slams me. He goes, "Stay right there. I'm gonna moonsault you." And I'm looking up and I'm like, this man has never done a moonsault a day in his life. And sure enough, he jumps up as high as he can. And he throws himself backwards and basically Germaned himself. Like just dumped himself on the back of the head.
Mm.
Get the real quick. Hold on, again. Same thing. Ah, bam. Just dumped himself. He did it like 3 or 4 times. And eventually, like, I got up, picked him up, slammed him, and I hit 3 moonsaults in a row. And then, like, pinned him. What are you doing? You've never done a moonsault in your life, but because Red Shoes is here and Red's got that connection with him, you try and show out that,
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny.
That's the name of the biz, man. Everyone's, you know, when it's time to show out, everyone tries to show out as much as they can, you
Right.
know? Like it's sadly sometimes at other people's expense, you know? But yeah. Hey, hey, at least you shined, right?
Oh, yeah. It was funny that you say that because, like, Mr. Iguana, like, I've become good friends with Mr. Iguana over the years. And when he popped in, he just blew up. when like WWE did the whole like thing and they brought in Iguana, everyone's loving Iguana now, and they think he's the greatest thing ever. And I hit him up afterwards. I'm like, hey man, like that was awesome. Congratulations. Like you finally being seen like you should be and everything. He goes, man, all I did was the same thing I've been doing for like 15 years. He's like, I didn't change anything. He goes, I didn't have to change because of that opportunity. He goes, they want me for me and I did me. And it's like,
Yeah,
that's a perfect way to think about it. It's like, you don't have to OD with something you're not. If you're being brought into a situation, that's because they want you for you, you know?
exactly, exactly. And I completely get that because, like, you see some wrestlers on the indie scene before they got signed, and they're doing like the same thing. Like Penta has always been doing that walk, the little
Yep.
strut, throwing on the little sign. Then next, the chop, and he ain't changed anything. He hasn't done anything different since he got signed. He's like almost him and Fatu are like the exact same,
Yep. Yep.
you know.
They
So
got
I
their
get
they got their thing and that's all they need.
exactly, exactly. So when you were starting out, what was one of the biggest challenges you faced that almost made you like want to quit, and how did you push through that?
Oh boy. To be honest, I don't think there was ever really a point where I even considered quitting. Like this has been my life, like from,
Yeah,
just watching it as a kid and growing up on it. And like, when I finally touched that ring, like it was like I felt like I stepped on holy ground. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like I don't know if you ever seen that TV show Spartacus. Like, but there's that
I saw bits and pieces. Yeah,
right. There's one part where they're like, what are you standing on? Somebody's like sand, and then they're like, no, wrong. Crixus, what are you standing on? He's like blood, sweat, tears, holy ground. Like he has like this whole speech about what the ground means. And like for me, that
yeah,
was that moment I stepped in a wrestling ring, you know? And like
mm,
I would get I think the only thing that really like got me the most was when I would get in my own way. Like
okay,
I've always been very proud that I can pretty much pick up and adapt to things pretty quickly. So like if there was something that I would struggle with, I would get upset at myself. And like that would always hold me back a little bit. Or like I think we were doing head scissors one day and like I wasn't getting the full rotation and it was just because like my hand placement was off. And it was just
yeah,
really like moving my hands like a couple of inches or something like that and I would have had it fine. But because I was doing them and I know I had done them on shows, no problem, but when I was doing them in training and I just kind of like threw my hands up and like, God damn it, son of a-" I had to get out of the ring. But it's like
yeah.
that's just me stepping in my own way, like I'm getting in my own I'm
Yeah.
my
You
own worst
stepping on
enemy.
your own toes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy you say that because I've seen you do some crazy stuff in the ring. I'm telling some crazy moves. I can't imagine you getting pinned up on like some tijeras or some head scissors.
Uh,
But before we move forward, I was actually gonna ask you. I just looked at your whole Instagram up and down, and you have some amazing outfits. Who does your gear? Who give them a shout out?
I've gotten a few different people have done them over the years. Um, I feel bad because I'm probably gonna butcher his name. Manuel Quaziro. I I can't remember. I can't pronounce the name. I'm terrible at that. Um, he's out of California. He's done a lot of. I think he did this one here, the one I'm wearing now.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of like the baggy pants ones I've been rocking lately. That's one of my guys out in Brooklyn, Hunico. Uh,
yeah. Oh, okay.
he
I
makes
think I found him on
great gear.
Facebook.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. He makes great stuff. It's funny because when we first started getting gear from him, like he was newer to it, so we were getting like all sorts of gear and everything, and then we just started
Yeah,
telling people like, oh, you gotta tell this guy's great, this guy's great. Next thing you know, he's like, man, I'm back up. Like I think I got like a couple months ahead. I'm like, son of a bitch, like we told too many people. Like,
right, right.
um,
That's why.
yeah, I mean, I've had so many people. Bronco International from the Bronx, Mascara Loza out of Mexico. Uh, Chalanga Mask was doing mine for a little bit. I
Yeah,
think he's out of California or Mexico right now. But yeah, I've had a bunch of different people. Like sometimes I just like trying new people just to see how their style looks. It's like
yeah,
wrestling. Like your style of wrestling is different than my style of wrestling. So like I want to see what your style of gear looks like compared to this guy's style of gear. Because you never know which one you're
Exactly.
gonna like the most, you know? Like I've done it all. I've done, the biker shorts, I've done the long tights, I've done the 3/4 tights, the baggy pants, baggy shorts now. Um yeah, I like to keep changing it up and always like, something new, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. I've done lots of different outfits. Even right now, I'm wrestling in an armored tunic, like a tunic like the Crusaders, when they
Mm,
wore with the cross on the chest. It's
yeah.
just straight up tunic. So believe me, it feels very free. It feels very free.
Just breezy. It's
One of
nice
the
and
reasons,
breezy.
one of the reasons why I asked about the gear was because your mask is very unique, and also your style is very innovative, but also aggressive. I can't imagine why you would call yourself Smiley. How'd that come about?
That that was Red's doing. We were in
Yeah.
training, and it was early on when we started, and I can't remember what drill we were doing, but he would whip us into the buckle. We'd supposed to hit the buckle, feet out, and they hit us with something like a chopper, slam, or whatever. And it was my turn, and I come in and I charge him, pass by, slam into the buckle, feet out, and all of a sudden he stops me. And he looks to the class, and I'm like, "Oh no, what did I do wrong?" He looks at the class, he goes, "It doesn't matter how hard I hit him, he won't stop smiling at me." And it was like kind of like a running joke that like I was just so excited to be in a wrestling ring, and I was so happy to be there that I just never stopped. Like I was happy. I would take an ass whooping and like smile in your face. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
one of the things. So like technically in the beginning he called me happy, but that only lasted a couple days. And then he switched and started calling me Smiley, and that one just stuck. Like I was trying to do a whole different character at the time. A character called Aeroside, which was super generic. Like the mask had like a phoenix, and the eyes were like the wings of the
Oh,
phoenix, and it,
yeah.
super generic and corny. But like originally, I wasn't even planning on doing the mask thing. So like the Aeroside
Oh,
character initially was just to like get my feet wet, and then once I
yeah.
knew who I was and what I was capable of doing and how I could work out in the real world or whatever, then I would take the mask off and I would become this. It was funny because I was supposed to be like a bad guy, and I was gonna call myself Lewin Paparazzo. I was gonna be like a whole paparazzi character, and I was gonna use my camera
Oh,
as a weapon to flash the guy in the eyes and blind him and hit him with the camera.
oh, that's funny.
And then like I just kind of fell in love with wearing the mask. Like there's something freeing when you put the mask on. It's like it's no longer like if something goes wrong, it's not my fault. It's his fault. You know what I mean? Like don't blame me,
Yeah,
blame this guy. This guy did it. So this
exactly.
it's something like freeing, and it's just like you get to be somebody else for a couple hours or something. And then one of the other students had said something like we were doing a show. He's like you really should just run with the whole like smiley thing because this just ain't working. Like this ain't it. But like
Yeah.
run with the name Smiley and make something of that. So then it was just like a kind of a combination. Like I went home and grabbed my sketch pad and I designed my first mask. And I started designing. I started taking inspiration from like different comic books because, like I said, I'm a huge comic book nerd. So of course, you throw in a little bit of Joker,
Yeah.
old comic book that nobody else apparently besides me and one promoter up in Canada read because that's the reason he started booking me because he caught on that my gimmick was based off of like this comic book called Evil Ernie and like
Evil Arnie?
yeah, Evil Ernie and like Chaos Comics, which was like a promotion comic book company that went under, I think in like the mid '90s or something. But like he was
Oh,
my
okay.
favorite, and like I had like the one of the logos on the side of my tights, and he caught on to it. He goes, "You read Evil Ernie?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "You come to my promotion, you'll never lose." Because like he again, nobody he knew who Evil Ernie was because it's such an obscure comic book. But like, it had a cult following back in the '90s, but like nowadays nobody knows who he is.
Oh,
Um,
I'm gonna have to write that down so I can check that out later.
I think I got a link where you can like read some of the comic books like right off the internet. Yeah, because like
Oh, really?
the comics themselves are so hard to find. Like I had a
Oof.
beautiful comic book collection, like all the Evil Ernies, like I had all of them, and it was in like this giant like Foot Locker kind of thing. And my
Yeah.
dad had it in the back of his truck at one point, and he got into an accident. And when he got into the accident, the footlocker fell out of the back of the truck, went flying, hit the ground, opened up. All my comic books went all over the highway, like just spread
Man.
all over the highway. And I'm like, no, like that was like at least 10, 12 years of collecting comic books to get every last issue and everything, and just poof, within a moment, done. So
Have you been able to rebuild that collection, or are you still working on it?
I haven't really had a chance to, because I don't really have space or anything. Like where we're living now, it's a little smaller, so like I don't really have a
Oh, yeah.
space to put all my comic books and stuff. Most of them I read on like Comixology and stuff like that nowadays. So
Oh, okay. Nice, nice. What was I gonna say? Now I know you probably get asked this a lot, but the way I found out about you a few years ago was a reel that someone posted, not you, but someone posted. I think it was a highlight reel of you, and you're knocking out these crazy moves. And then so someone commented, they tagged you in it in the comments. So I went to your page and I'm just scrolling. I'm like this. So I know you've probably been asked this a lot of times, but where do you come up with some of these ideas and moves? Like, what's your inspiration? You know?
like my biggest inspirations, like when I started and everything, was like I was a huge like Chris Canyon fan, and like Chris Canyon was one of them guys. Like every time you watched one of his matches, he had something new. Nova
Yeah.
and ECW, same thing. Nova was doing these incredible moves, and like nobody had ever seen them before. And then,
Yeah.
like, of course, Amazing Red, he was an innovator of the times and stuff like that. So, like,
Hmm.
when I started wrestling, I was like, that's what I want. I want to be the guy that when you watch me wrestle, you're at least going to see something that you've never seen before. You know,
That's
I'm
amazing.
going to try something that I don't even know if it's possible, but I'm going to try it. Like, sometimes it works,
Yeah.
sometimes it don't. It's the nature of the game. But like for me, it's just like I love playing with people's expectations. Excuse me. So like one thing that I love doing is like, well, what's the popular thing right now? And then like I'll take that and I'll tweak it. Like
Uh,
I do the one where I hit the ropes kind of like sideways and I do like a splash or a corkscrew out of it. Sometimes a lot of
yeah.
times I do the DDT now, but like the reason I started doing the splash thing is because at the time everybody was doing that whole Andrade gimmick where they run, they hit the ropes and they hang on and they wait for the guy to charge them and then they drop down and the guy falls out. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, if everybody's doing that and I run and I jump into the ropes like this, in the fans' eyes, they're going to go, oh, he's doing that thing. Well, how can I violate that? Well, I can bounce off that, which ironically, I think the first time I did that bounce off the ropes wasn't even really intentional. It was in like a studio taping match against Vinny Pacifico, and he just
Okay.
like shadowed me. Like I did the little Marufuji shadow, and I turned around, he drop kicked me, and when he did, I just jumped backwards and somehow threw my body sideways. Like I don't know how I do some of this stuff half the time. Like it's just like I guess I just feel it and like go
Yeah.
with feeling instead of like I guess like it's not so structured in my head. You know, like
Uh,
like I know like drop kick, bump, gotcha. I've been taught that for
yeah.
years. I understand. But what if? Like what if I can throw my body backwards and see what happens? Like I was thinking maybe I'd fly out the ring. But in reality I bounced off the ropes and I came back into the ring and I'm like, oh well, that was interesting. Maybe I could do something with that. And then when
Yeah.
I said, like everybody was doing the Andrade gimmick, I'm like, well, what if I did that thing that happened once and I splashed the guy? And then I started doing a splash. I'm like, okay, well, what if I corkscrew? Nope, now I can do a corkscrew out of it. And then I think it was Matt McIntosh. I went to dive on Matt McIntosh. He slid in the ring, popped up on his knees. I hit the little bounce and I went, oh, this could work. DDT. So it's kind of like just,
Yeah.
it's trial and error, but it's also like a lot of like, how can I violate what you think I'm going to do? Because like nowadays,
Yeah.
everybody like, everybody's a critic. You know, the, there's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
more fans, a lot more critics in wrestling nowadays. So they
Let's
think,
just,
oh yeah. So like they think they know what's going to happen. They think they know how this works. So I want to be the
yeah.
guy that they watch and go, I don't know. Like I don't know anymore. So like that's what I like doing is like I like being the guy that like you can watch and then like you were saying like how the hell do you do that? Like I don't know sometimes. Like it happens. It's just throw caution to the wind. Like it's some people look at the ring. You got the three ropes, the 12 turnbuckles, center of the ring. Well, you
Yeah,
go here, you go here, you can do this, this. I look at it and I go, well, what else can I do with this? Like
yeah,
this is built to do this with it. Cool, I'll do that with it. But what else can I use it for? A pencil is used to
yeah,
write down notes, but I can also use that pencil in the window shade in the windowsill because my damn window won't stay up. Now it's holding my window up. There's a second use for that. So that's kind of like
yeah,
where my mind goes is like, well, what other uses can I get out of these turnbuckles? What other uses can I get out of the actual metal turnbuckle? Maybe I'll choke a guy with that,
yeah.
choke them on the ropes. I can bash your head into a foam pad and it might hurt, but if I run your head into the metal turnbuckle behind the foam pad, that's gonna hurt a lot more. So it's just
No,
like
but definitely.
it's a lot of like breaking the norm, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I think I said it on somebody else's like podcast where it's like I refuse to live by the restrictions that other people put on me. So
Oh
like
yeah.
if you're telling me like, oh, this is you can only do this, this is used for this. That's cool, but I'm gonna find other uses for it. And like then
Yeah.
that's how I come up with ideas, and then all of a sudden it snowballs. The next thing I know is I'm brain bustering somebody on the top rope, and
Oh, I saw that one. You
yeah,
did a move. You did a move. I was watching a match. I can't recall. I can't recall the match or the move that led into it. It was you got thrown into the ropes, right? And as you fly, you do a double underhook over the top rope, almost like how Matt Cross does the
yep,
hook
yep.
like this. But you do a underhook to the rope and you bounce back in and you do a move. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But then I'm watching another match where somehow you go under the top rope facing like the ceiling and you double underhook as well. And I thought that was insane. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. One of them's usually a cutter, one of them's usually a stunner. If I'm going upside
Yeah.
down, I'm probably hitting a stunner. If I'm going belly down, I'm probably hitting a cutter.
So I saw you do that. I'm like, this guy has definitely, you ever heard the expression get your 10,000 hours in, you
Oh yeah,
know,
oh yeah.
get I'm like, this guy, because to do these moves, I tried doing the double unhook, but like facing down, like as if you're going to tope. Nope. I kind of, I kind of just ended up jumping and like springing on the rope and then getting back in the ring.
Yep,
Like just,
yep.
yeah. No, I couldn't do it. I was too afraid that something, I was gonna, because I'm a 300 pounder, so I was afraid that I should get straight up tope over the top rope.
Oh yeah. I think that's how that one kind of started. Is somebody went to throw me over the top rope for a battle royal. So they had me by the back of the neck. So natural reaction, just drop your head so they can't grab you. And as I
Yeah.
dropped my head, I just kind of caught the rope, springboarded backwards, and then I think I eliminated them. And it's like, okay, like that's something. That's new. Like, let's see what
Yeah.
that's done. And then like the upside down one. Actually, I got a fun origin story for you on that one. So I think I'd seen Leon Ruff was doing it, but he was doing it with a clothesline or something like that. And I'm like, that just looks fun. Like, I'm like, that springboard just looks fun. I want to play with that. So I was trying to find out some sort of like, I didn't want to straight rip him off. Like,
Yeah.
that into the clothesline, it's brutal, and that clothesline comes in hard. Perfect. Leon Ruff kills it with that. Love Doug does the same thing. Like, he hits that with a lariat, looks nasty. But like, I'm like, I want something different. So like, I was playing around, and I started doing I think a stunner out of it.
Yeah.
And then I posted the clip the first time I ever hit it, and I think I did it to two people at one time or something. And then my wrestling grandpa Mikey Whipwreck commented on it. He goes, "Looks great, but maybe come up with another way to get into it so they're not staring at you." So like he's giving me advice and everything, and then I hit him up. I go, "Mikey, can I call this the Whippersnapper Beta? Like the Whippersnapper 2.0 or something like that?" He's absolutely.
Yeah.
He goes, just kind of
Oh,
clean it up a little bit. And I'm like, you got it. So like I got like his permission to use that one. Uh,
um,
the origin to that upside down rebound I learned at the Lucha Expo in the ECW arena.
oh,
Uh, Ricardo Rodriguez was on the show, and where I had set my merch table up, he had set his up right next to me. And me and Ricardo had talked on like social media, like a little back and forth. Like we had talked, we were supposed to wrestle once in Canada, but like the Canadian border wouldn't let him over apparently. So we never got
Yeah.
our match. And to this day, I'm still fighting him to give me my match. I work for him now in Pennsylvania for Three Legacies Wrestling. Um,
Okay.
phenomenal company, phenomenal company. We just went to Italy actually with Three Legacies. Like 5 of us went out
I
there and
saw
wrestled.
that.
Phenomenal.
I saw that.
But we were sitting there and we were talking, and he goes, "Oh, you know that thing you do with the where you catch the ropes with your arms and stuff?" I went, "Yeah." He
Yeah.
goes, "Do you know how that started?" I told him, like, "Well, I saw Leon Ruff doing it with a clothesline." He goes, "Yeah, but that rebound," he goes, "I started that." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "My trainer and Matt Cross used to do competitions when they were in PWG together, where they would run and basically they would try to tope and catch the rope as they're going out through the tope, like see who could get the extended the most out of the ring, pull themselves back in, and then hit something." And I thought it was
Oh,
phenomenal. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. He goes, "But one, it scared the death out of me, and two, I'm too fat." He goes, "Like I was too heavy to do it." He goes, "So I couldn't do all the way out and then pull myself back in." He goes, "I wasn't strong enough." He goes, "So I started to learn that I could do it with the arms and catch myself that way." I'm like, "Oh, I never knew that." He goes, "Yeah." And then he would show me like other moves that like people are doing nowadays that he was doing, back right before he got signed with WWE and everything, as like Kamara. I've always pronounced that name wrong. Kamara, the Kamara. I can't pronounce it right.
tomorrow. I'd say tomorrow, but
Yeah, I think that might be it. But like
yeah.
his mask gimmick when he was under the mask and everything, and he was showing me like all these clips. Like he was hitting the Stormbreaker back in like early 2000s and everything like that, and then now Will Ospreay has it as his finisher on like AEW and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and he was telling me, he's like, "Oh, people are gonna steal your stuff." And I went, "Oh, no doubt about it." I'm like, "It happened already." I'm like, "Yo, I get people all the time, like they'll steal my stuff and then try to claim it as their own, which I think is funny. And then I got some people that will hit me up and go, 'Bro, can I use this? Can I borrow this?' I'm like, 'Yeah, have at it, man.' Like I understand, like, nothing's sacred in pro wrestling. Um,
Yeah.
the one that really got me though was I was on the way to my dad's funeral, and um was in the car. We're on the way to the funeral, and all of a sudden my phone just goes nuts, like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I pull the phone out and I look at it, and I got like 30 messages from different people, and they're like, "Yo, Leo Rush went to WWE and stole your stunner." I'm like, "What?" And
Oh
like,
yeah.
sure enough, he was doing the little bottom rope sit down stunner where he pop up and give the guy the cutter.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough, like he was doing that one, and like I'm like I have footage of him watching me hit that move on Jorge Santi in NYWC Arena. Like I know he knows I did that move, but whatever. People are gonna steal, people are gonna steal my moves if they want. Go for it, because I always have multi variations. Like I
Yeah.
always have multiple variations because I don't want. If you steal this one, well, okay, I'll move to this one or this one or this one. Always have options.
Yeah. No, I hear ya. Yeah, one of the trainers I was working with in El Paso, during the pandemic, he's a Mexican luchador over there. He told me that, with certain moves, it doesn't really matter who hits it, it's who's remembered for hitting it. So like when you do it, everyone's gonna know that you do it and you do it well. You do
Yeah,
it, you know, the best. So like for example, when I was down there, 5 matches could finish with an elbow drop. It depends on who was the one that everyone remembers the most,
yep,
you
yep.
know? So that's crazy though. I can't believe I know cause I saw Leo Rush do it. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen that before, you know? Oh my God, that's horrible. Did you ever reach out to him about it or make like a little video and post it?
Nah, it's not really worth it. And then like of course if I did, you get people on the internet like, "You're a hater, man. You're just hating on the Leo." I'm like, I don't care. Like I would prefer people like, if you're gonna do it, somebody asks you, just give me a little heads up, give me a little credit. Like my finisher, I thought I was being original with it, because the lightning lock was always like a cool submission hold in my mind. But I'm like, what if you could turn that submission into like a driver? So I started doing like this move where I'd hook the arms behind the back, spin you out, pick you up, and
Yeah,
driver it. I thought I had kind of come up with something new. Like I'd never seen anybody do the lightning lock into a driver before, so I thought I made it up. But then like I started watching videos, and I saw Spiral BKNY would do something similar to the side. But I'm like, it's a little different. Maybe it's, still kind of something I do. And then watch a little bit more footage, and I see Ruckus back in CZW in like the early 2000s, and he's hitting the same exact move the way I do it. Hook the arms, driver
yeah,
between the legs, sit down style. So if anybody asks me, yeah, that's my finisher, but Ruckus did it first. I have no problem giving credit. Like in comedy, they
yeah,
call it parallel thinking, where you think you came up with
yeah.
something, but it's somebody else already did it. Happens all the time.
Hmm.
I have no problem admitting, like, oh, I thought I had come up with it, but that was, Ruckus. He did that.
Yeah. And it's not a bad name to it's the great minds think alike. Ruckus has had a lot of big moves that he came up with, a lot of innovation, a lot of athleticism.
Oh
So the
yeah.
fact that you came up with something that he also came up with, it's like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
we're on the, we're cooking with some gas here.
Oh yeah. Ruckus is always one of the matches that's escaped me. We were supposed to wrestle actually a couple months ago, I think it was. We were supposed to wrestle in Delaware, and then like I guess it snowed where he was, and he wasn't able to get out. But it's like I was like,
Oh,
it's freaking close from finally getting my match with Ruckus because like that's one of them dream matches. Like I've always been compared to Ruckus. I'm a heavy set dude. I got a bit of a belly to me, but I do all this high flying stuff that somebody my size should not be able to do. Ruckus was always that. He's always hitting backhand, back handsprings into moonsaults and like all this stuff that somebody like his size that's unheard of.
yeah,
But he was phenomenal at.
yeah, exactly.
So that's always one of the
So,
ones that escaped me.
you actually it just answered my next question. I was gonna ask, what's one of like your dream opponents or dream matches that you would like to have? Because I know you've been in the industry over 13 years. You wrestled a lot of people, but there has to be at least like one or two that has eluded you. You answered it right there
Oh,
with
there's
Ruckus.
there's a bunch of them. I'm still telling Ricardo I want my match because, like I said, we were supposed to wrestle. It was right after he got released from WWE and everything, and we were supposed to wrestle. They wouldn't let him over the
Yeah.
border. Jerks. Ruckus is one. Uh, some of them I gotta wait for them to finish up with what they're doing in WWE, but like Alex Shelley, like I always loved
Oh,
Alex Shelley's style, and like I feel like that would be super fun. El Generico, but I hear he's in like Tijuana with the Orphans or something like that. You know,
oh.
a lot of the old school a lot of the old like the I guess generation or two before us, like the Kevin Steens or something like that, have always been dream matches.
Yeah,
But they got their thing in WWE and more power to them. Like I just gotta get signed.
yeah.
You know, gotta get signed so I can have those matches. But uh,
It's it's gonna happen. It's
I
gonna happen.
hope so.
Oh, I don't know if it's true, but I have been reading some posts that people are saying that WWE is going back to looking in the indies again instead of like trying to scout like university students and collegiate athletes. That they're
Thank.
looking back at who was it? I think they said they're gonna have William Regal and somebody else take charge of the scouting or
Mm,
like the of what they're looking for. So I
yeah,
don't know. You know.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed. 2026 could be the year. You
Oh,
know,
that'd be phenomenal.
I mean, you're killing it. I mean, I've seen guys, just on social media alone, because you're a pro wrestler. You have to manage your social media accounts. You have to manage family. You have to manage your household, things like that. And video editing, that stuff doesn't come easy for a lot of people.
No,
The fact that you have to do all of it, it just shines a bright light on you, you know?
oh
So
yeah.
I don't doubt that, don't be surprised if you get that phone call. Or one day you'll be in the locker room, taking off your boots, and someone walks up and goes, "Hey, what's up?" You know?
I hope so, man. Like it's a dream come true to like make a living doing this. Like I hate that
Yeah,
Monday through Friday I gotta go. drive a forklift where so I can wrestle on Saturday and Sunday and stuff like that. But like, man, that'd be the dream just to get paid to do what you love to do, you know? Um,
Yeah.
and then like I said, like at the end of the day, like I want to like I want that moment. I think I even mentioned it on the Rumble podcast that we were talking about earlier. Is like um I want that opportunity, but it's not even like so much like I want that opportunity to pay my bills with what I love to do. But like I also want that opportunity because like my favorite part about wrestling is like the interactions and the friendships and the connections you make with the people out in the crowd. Like I want that opportunity so I can affect more people, you know, like to know that like
Exactly.
I can go do a show, perform my way, my style, whatever, because like I like to think I'm a little bit different than anybody else you're gonna put on your card. My style, my act is different than anything else you're ever gonna see. Like I remember early on um watching some of the other guys at the wrestling school and they're wrestling and it's like you can clearly tell like you're a Chris Hero guy because you're doing Chris Hero. You know, you can
Yeah.
see, oh, you're a Jeff Hardy guy, you're doing Jeff Hardy. But like I didn't want any of that because I wanted to be, oh, you're a Smiley doing Smiley guy. You know, like I wanted to be the first me doing me kind of situation. So like I pride myself on like having that ability to be unique on any card I go to. Um,
Yeah.
matter of fact,
That's for sure.
I remember like I remember like watching something. It might have been like a documentary or something like that on indie wrestling. And it was right around when Alex Shelley was doing the whole paparazzi gimmick where he put the camera up and then, you know, he bring the
Yeah.
camera with the tripod. And it was some documentary was going on and some random indie guy was doing that. And I'm like, that's like a blatant ripoff of Alex Shelley. Like there's no change, no difference.
Yeah.
And like instantly, as soon as I started training, I'm like, I don't want to ever be that guy. I don't want ever to be able to compare to somebody else. I'll throw tributes into the way I do things, absolutely. Like Delirious is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. So when I do my
Uh,
bodies, like you'll see me kind of like grab the arms and I arch it as wide back as I can, and it looks like when he does the Shadows Over Hell. You know, the way same way
yeah.
he flashes the back, that's the same way I do my cross bodies. And it's like I would like those tributes. Like I might steal something from Amazing Red one day and like do a code red.
Yeah.
I'll throw a tribute here or there, but I won't ever like full on like steal somebody else's gimmick. You know, I want to be the first
Yeah.
and only Smiley. You know, um,
And that you have become, I tell you that right now. And the internet, I'm telling you, man, I was on YouTube. I saw some of your stuff on YouTube. It wasn't even your channel.
I get that every now and then. Yeah,
I
I'll,
still
I'll
liked
show up
it.
on I'll show up on
I
like
was like,
highlight videos or something like that, or you know,
yeah.
the surreal one is when you get like somebody will send me a clip, um, and it was like Paul London on Rene Dupree's podcast, and he was talking about a
Mhm.
match in Jersey for Pro Wrestling Magic, and like he was just talking about like it was the match was me, Paul London, Jonathan Gresham, and JT Dunn, and he
Okay.
didn't have the best experience in the match because of one of the competitors in it.
Okay.
But like, so he starts talking about it on Renee's podcast, and like all of a sudden he's like, you know, I did the match, JT Dunn, Jonathan Gresham, and oh, this really great luchador guy's mine, and he starts complimenting me, and I'm like, this is insane. And then like moments like that, which are cool because it's like he's talking about me to Rene Dupree. Rene Dupree has no idea who I am. But then like later on down the line, I get to meet Rene because he came through Three Legacies Wrestling. And I'm like, hey, when Paul London brings up Smiley, I'm that guy. So he's like, oh, you're the Smiley he brings up. So like it's kind of like those cool moments where it's like I'm on other podcasts, I'm on like other YouTube channels and highlight videos and like OMG videos, like BDJW, BDJW, I think that's how it goes. Like I've watched his videos for years, and like
Yeah.
now, like every now and then on the OMG videos, like randomly I'll pop up doing a spot or something like that. I'm like, holy shit! Like I've been watching this guy for years. The one I wish was still around was Rob Viper. Like I used to watch his videos all the time, but like right as I started working, his page got shut down. But like I wish I popped up on his.
And and that's just a snowball effect. That's just a
Yep.
snowball effect. It'll keep growing and growing. And the funny part is, is I believe within the next year and a half, maybe next 2 years, you're gonna see a big blow up in on social media, a big blow up in your career, and then everyone's gonna think, where'd he come from? Oh, he must have just finished school and got signed overnight, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was gonna see the years of connections and years of training and wrestling and the matches and the traveling, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But I'm
It's
I'm gonna pray on it, man. I'm gonna pray on it. It works out for you this year. I'm telling you.
I hope so.
Um, what's one piece of advice you would give any young talent who's starting out and wants to stand out in the biz?
Uh, my favorite piece of advice that anybody ever gave me, it was Bull James, and it was at like a CZW show. We did like this, I think it was fight or flight match or something like that, where like they put a platform on top of the turnbuckle, so you're raised up an extra few feet. And we did the match, and we came to the back, and he goes, "Fun match." He goes, "Guys did good, but you always have to remember, pro wrestling's not acting; it's reacting." He goes, "So like,
Mm,
and it's like that one statement, like just kind of flipped a switch in my mind, and like instantly, I'm like, oh, I kind of get this now, you know." And it's like I tell like the young guys now, like if anybody asks me for advice or listens to me, like I tell them, it's not acting, it's reacting. So like, don't do something because you know that's the next thing to do. Do something and then react to it so that you get to this point, or do something
mm,
and then give your opponent something to react to. So like I personally love doing the whole like crawl under the bottom rope and I'll kick my feet at the guy because like an old school move that we all seen, but nobody, excuse me, nobody does anymore. You hook the legs, you
yeah.
knees to the back and catapult them neck first into the rope. It's savage. It looks vicious. Nobody does it.
Mm,
But if I can
yeah.
fall into that rope and I can kick my feet at you and you react to that, it looks natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's more natural compared to if you like, if I bumped and then you just drag me over to the rope and you put me under the rope and then hook and slingshot. That's not natural. You know, that's just,
Yeah.
acting. Uh, but the part, it kind of like over the past few years, maybe since he gave us that advice, it kind of took another twist to it where I think of that same advice, but I think of it in the fans' point of view, right?
Mm,
You
yeah.
don't want the fans to act. You don't want the fan reaction to be an act. Like we have
Ooh.
kind of like we have kind of conditioned them that if we hit crazy moves and we dump each other on our domes and like we're breaking each other's backs, that after 7, 8 minutes of that, then they'll just start chanting, "This is awesome, fight forever." That's cool,
Yeah.
but they're conditioned to do that. But
Yeah.
if you can emotionally captivate them to the point where like their reaction is to say, "This is awesome," you know, that means so much more than just I did a bunch of moves, I dumped a guy on his head like 12 times, and they conditioned to say, "This is awesome." But if I can like grab sympathy out of this guy and I can make this guy put his phone down in the second row
Yeah.
and pay attention to me because he thinks that I'm actually hurt and that I'm like needing some help, but I refuse to quit. And like his reaction is like, "This guy's unstoppable. This guy's awesome." And then he naturally starts gaining that "this is awesome" chant.
Yeah.
You feel the difference, like you can
Yeah.
feel the difference. And like when you're younger in the business, you don't understand that. But like, or like the other thing I'll tell some of the guys, the moment you start moving is the moment they stop reacting. You know what I mean? So like, if you
Mm,
do something crazy and they naturally start reacting to it, sit still, don't move, let them.
yeah.
Because the moment I grab you, they're gonna stop because they're gonna be like, "What's next?" You know what I mean?
Mm,
Let
yeah.
that, you got to be organic with it. Like you can get "holy shit" chance or "this is awesome" chance or whatever else, like because they're conditioned that way. But it's not
Yeah.
natural. It's not like authentic. You know?
Yeah. Man, I tell you, I could send this clip from that question I asked right there. I could send this to about 50 of my friends from who wrestle in El Paso, and they would sit there like this, like because even not just as a fan of wrestling, but also as a wrestler. Just talking with you these last 15 minutes, which we're gonna wrap up right now, but just talking the last 55 minutes has like blown my mind. Like I'm looking at the ring now in a different way, as more than just four corners, the ropes in the center. I'm looking at everything differently. I'm truly, truly blessed that you were able to come out here and talk to me and share your experiences, share the past, and share some advice because I believe a lot of people who are watching this right now are really, really gonna take heart everything you said today. So,
Yeah.
what?
If any of them have more questions or they want more advice, like I have like a notebook of just like tips that people have given me or suggestions or like advice. And it's just like I love giving it out to people. Cause like I tell people all the time, like at the end of the day, I want each and every person that wrestles to be better than me. But I'm not gonna make it easy for you. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I'm gonna make you fight to be better than I am, but I want you to be because I want to see you rise. Because if we all wanted to see each other rise up and we all wanted to see each other succeed, then
yeah,
just think of the endless possibilities that we could have with pro wrestling. Like pro wrestling could be bigger than the Super Bowl. Like an indie show could be bigger than the Super Bowl if we all just put like each other like and raised each other up. But unfortunately, with nowadays, it is just so much of like, I'm gonna shut this guy down because he's starting to get a little too big, and maybe he's gonna come for my spot or whatever. Like
yeah,
instead of thinking like, come for my spot, please, I dare you, but you're not gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I want to see these people. Like I tell Ricardo when I do like the Three Legacy shows, I'll look at his students and I'll be like, give me Just Jay, give me Al
yeah,
Snook, let me wrestle Al Snook, let me wrestle Naeem Brooks, let me wrestle Zoe Cannon because I want them to be better. Like I want them to surpass me. But like I'm not gonna make it easy for them, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna take them into the ring and I'm gonna show them a whole new side of pro wrestling that they never understood or like they never thought was possible. Because like that's what you need. You need all different perspectives. You know?
yeah.
Like
That's so true.
Steven Spielberg will teach you one way of filming a movie. Wes Craven will teach you a whole different way of filming a movie. Neither one of them's right, neither one of them's wrong. It's different flavors of ice cream, you know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. You know, and what works for some people won't work for others, but at least they know the general. If you know the general rules, if you can put on a straight up good match with a good story from beginning to end, then that's when you can start pulling the strings and manipulating the story.
Yeah.
Making it your own. But first you always gotta lay down the groundwork.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta have that foundation in there.
So I usually when I usually end the podcast, I like to ask a question or like a finish this sentence, and the finish the sentence is, you're a pro wrestler when.
Ooh, that's a good one. You know, you're a pro wrestler. I know initially I would have said when you can have fun in the ring. Uh, I think my final answer would be, you're a pro wrestler when you can um when you can take the crowd on an emotional journey. You know what I mean? Like kind of going back to what I
Yes.
was just saying, like you're a pro wrestler when you can kind of manipulate their feelings. I hate the word manipulate, but like kind of like you get the idea is like I can
Oh
kind of like
yeah.
I can make you feel something. You know what I mean? I want
Yeah.
if I can take you away from the hell you live Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday or Sunday or whatever, you can just let all that go and just have fun. Or like when I get goofy and you see a 60-year-old man in the crowd acting like a teenager again because he's just
Yeah.
fighting on what I'm doing and stuff like that. That's when like that you're kind of like you're a wrestler now because like anybody can hit moves. The phrase like I can teach a monkey to do what we do. You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, uh, I'm taking you on an emotional journey. I want you to feel scared for my safety. I want you to feel excited when I punch this jerk in the face. You know,
Yeah.
it, it, I love again. It's another one of my things. If anybody ever wants to hit me up about tips or suggestions, I love telling people pro wrestling's like watching a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like we're all scared for the blonde virgin final girl running away from Jason. But we get
Yeah.
so excited when she's tired of his crap and she just starts
Mhm.
grabbing kitchen knives and stabbing this man with whatever she got. It's like,
Yeah.
that's what I want. I want to take you on that emotional journey. I want you to be scared when I'm getting my butt kicked. I want you to be excited when I start coming back on this man because I'm just tired of him putting the boots to me and disrespecting me. And then I want you to jump out of your seat when I finally put him on his back. You know what I mean? Like, that's how
Yeah.
you know you're a wrestler. Like when you can elicit feelings out of people.
Yes. Yes. When people are driving home and they're shaking a little bit because that was a good match.
Yeah. I-
Now, you know?
there's if I could squeeze in another little story on you. Sorry, I'll ramble all night long if you let me. But I did one. It was probably like a year ago now. We were doing a show in some high school for Three Legacies or some college, and intermission comes around. I go out and I'm mingling. I love mingling with the fans in intermission. Uh, Guy comes up to me, starts talking to me. He goes, "Did you know my girlfriend has a photo of you on her wall?" He goes, "She got the photo when she was like 7, and she's not a wrestling fan." And I go, "She's not a wrestling fan." She goes, "No, she went with her uncle because her uncle wanted to go see a wrestling show, and she just went with him. She doesn't like
Wow.
wrestling, but she saw you on that show. She loves you to death. She got an 8x10 from you. You signed it for her." He goes, "And that photo is still hanging on her wall to this day." And I'm like, "Well, if she was 7, like, how old is she now?" Because the guy I'm talking to is like in his 20s. And she's like, "She's 19." I went, "What?" He goes, "She's 19 years old. So for the past 12 years, she's had a photo of you, a wrestler. She doesn't like wrestling, but she's had a photo of you hanging on her wall like a prized possession." And like for him to say that, it's like, "Oh, that's insane." Like, to know,
Yeah.
like, I've elicited again the emotional aspect. Like, I've taken so much emotion out of her. I gave her so much of an emotional journey that she bought a photo. She, got it signed. I'm assuming we probably took a photo together, but that picture's hanging up on her wall for 13 years, 12, 13 years. That's nuts.
Wow.
There's,
That's impact.
there's fans I have to this day I have watched grow up. Like, I went to do a show in Connecticut a few months ago, 6, 7 months ago. And in Connecticut, I knew there was this family out there that I had seen every month for when I first started wrestling. And they had a little boy, Wyatt. When I knew Wyatt, this kid was like 3 feet tall if he's lucky. He's tiny. And I told him, like, "Hey, I'm in your area." And they're like, "Well, you should come by the house. Like, we're having a birthday party for one of the kids." I went to that birthday party. Wyatt comes out. Haven't seen him in probably like 8 or 9 years. It's been a while. Yeah. No, like 4 or 5 years, whatever. But he comes out and that boy's jaw dropped as soon as he saw me. It's like he was stunned that like I was there. And it's like I've known this kid since he was like 5. Like he was running around the arena while his grandparents were setting up the ring. And now he's a teenager and he's playing football in high school and like all this other stuff. And his jaw just dropped. He was so like shocked that I was there. Like, and it's nuts because like I have a video. I think I have it on Instagram somewhere. But it's like they hid me in a box at one point for his birthday. Like his 8th or 9th birthday. They hid me in a refrigerator box. And he came to open the box. And there I was. And he started crying. And it's like that's a journey, man. Like that's
Yeah.
insane that you can have such an emotional impact on somebody's life that they'll have your
Mhm.
photo on their wall for 13 years, that they'll remember you even though they haven't seen you in 4 or 5 years, like that they get emotional when they see you coming. It's like this what we do is incredible. Like, pro
Yeah.
wrestling is so much more than power bombs and pile drivers. It's all about making memories and changing lives. And like it
Exactly.
is such a phenomenal thing that we do. So if anybody wants to be a wrestler, you need to. Like I remember you saying earlier, like sometimes it's older people that want to start, but they don't know if they should. DDP didn't start wrestling until he was what, 30? I think
No, I think
30.
he said 37. I think he started
Yeah,
training, but his career didn't kick off until he was 41.
exactly. Like I didn't start training till I was 27. Yeah, 27. Like I got started late because in Maine we didn't have any wrestling schools that I could go to. So I had to
Well,
move to New York to become a wrestler. But man, it's been the best decision of my life. Like
yeah,
I met my girlfriend through pro wrestling. We have a child now together. Like I've been able to travel the world. Like I said, I just went to Italy. I wrestled out in Italy. I've been to Canada more times than I can probably count at this point. I'm up there all the time. I've done
yeah,
things that like I'm a fat kid from Maine. Like I was never supposed to succeed. You know what I mean? Like I was never supposed to be anybody. But now, I went to my 20-year high school reunion and everyone's like, yo, he's a wrestler now, right? Like he's a pro wrestler. Have you seen like they're sharing my videos around. Like I was never supposed to succeed. I wasn't supposed to make it this far. I just it's it's so emotional. Like
it
it's the
is.
hardest and greatest thing that anybody could ever do with their life. If you have the passion.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes.
there's a lot of people that
Man,
get into it, and I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and it's like so many people get into it nowadays and think that they're owed something. Like
yeah.
another piece of advice or anything, like you got to understand, pro wrestling doesn't owe any of us anything. You know, we're not
Mm-hmm.
owed anything in this business. I've been wrestling 13 years. I'm not owed a contract. I have to work for that if I want it. I have to make myself known. I have to put myself out there so people like you can see my work and then want to bring me on your podcast. So maybe an agent from WWE can see me and go, we got to find this guy. You know, I got to
Oh
put
yeah.
myself out there so I can get on these big shows and wrestle in baseball stadiums in front of 3,000 people, against Delirious, who's one of my favorite wrestlers of all times. That doesn't come with just like, I'm owed this. I
Yeah.
deserve this. No, bust your ass. You work for this. You know,
Yeah.
nowadays it's too many people who feel like they're owed something, or like if they don't make it to WWE, that they didn't make it, which is so far off. Like if I
No, it
never make it
is.
to WWE, I'm happy because of the connections I've made, the friendship I've made, like all of the people I've met through pro wrestling, all of like the experiences I've had. I'm a success. Like even if
Yeah.
I don't make it to WWE, I'm a success, and you cannot tell
Yeah.
me any differently. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Man, you see those videos on Instagram that are popular right now? It's like, oh, he had to go, and it shows like this wrestler like doing like intense like moves, like impressive moves, and oh, he had to go, and it shows them like Braun Breaker tackling spearing somebody, and then oh, he had to go because he had to leave NXT because it shows him hitting somebody else. You know, I can see that someone making a video like, oh, he had to go, and then you doing some crazy tricks in the WWE. Like, oh no, he was outshining the main guys. He had to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
but hey, I have no doubt you're gonna make it, brother. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. This has been a truly big honor. It really has. And I hope maybe sometime later on this year, at the end of the year, I can get you back on the podcast for a recap. See how 2026 was for Smiley. How's that sound?
hell yeah, of course.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And for everyone watching the YouTube channel right now, I'm gonna leave all the links to his social media in the description box. So go ahead and follow him on Instagram, check him out on all the other social media platforms, and show your support. All right. So thank you again, Smiley, for coming on the show. You take care. You have a good night. All right.
You too. Thank you.